Is a car wash really the best way to raise money for a youth ministry? In this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can raise money for your next event or trip. Hey, my name is Brian, and here at YTH Pastor Network, we give tips and tricks that we've learned on our own, as well as from other youth pastors on how to do youth ministry. So if this is something you're interested in, consider subscribing. Alrighty, 3 ways that I think that you can raise money in your youth ministry. Now, what you need to understand about fundraising, I like to do things that are very minimal effort, but maximum results. I'm sure that's how most of you feel. And maybe some of these ideas you've never done before. The first one that I really enjoy doing, or I at least try to do once a year, is a golf tournament. Now, golfing, you might not be your thing, you might not be into golf, you've never played golf before, and that's okay. I'm sure someone in your church has, maybe your pastor, or maybe a board member, or maybe just someone in your leadership team plays golf. And here's the thing that you can do with golf tournaments. I've actually known some people who have raised over $20,000 doing golf tournaments. Now, it's a lot of work. You're gonna have to put in a lot of time and effort and recruit and get people signed up and do all those other things, but $20,000 can do a lot for your youth ministry. So here's what you should do. The first thing you need to do is go to the golf course, your local golf course. Most of the time it's a public golf course, and talk to the golf professional, the pro that works there at the golf course. And you need to just ask them, hey, we would like to put on a tournament for our youth group to raise money. And a lot of times what will happen is when you start telling these people that it's for students or for its young people, they want to get on board and they want to help. Here locally where I live, I went to the pro and I asked him that I'm wanting to do a tournament. He said I do them all the time, and all you need to do, he said I'll take care of the tournament, setting it up, getting all the guys registered and signed up for it because we do them all the time anyway. All you need to do is go to local businesses and ask them to sponsor your event by buying a yard sign that goes on the hole. And unfortunately COVID hit and we weren't able to do that this year, but it was a relatively easy way of raising money. He said he had just done one earlier in the year and made over $15,000 for that group. So it is doable to raise the money. You're just gonna have to put in the work. Another great way with golf tournaments to raise money is to sell mulligans. Here locally, there's a big golf tournament that goes on every year, and one of our local leaders here had a connection with the guy that puts on a tournament that has hundreds of players in it, and he actually got us signed up to sell mulligans at this tournament. And what a mulligan is, it's basically you get an extra shot, you get a free chance, you get another chance to hit the shot that you tried earlier, but you have to pay money to do it. And what we did is we sold them for $20 per mulligan, and you only get a limit of 4 of them. And so each team, if they're smart, they buy the mulligans, and it's $20 per, and it usually comes out to $80 per team. Now, if you have a tournament that there's 100 teams in there, maybe not all of them are going to buy them, but let's say half of them do. You have 50 guys or 50 teams giving you $80. That's a quick way to raise money, and all you have to do is just sell a little ticket that you give to them. It's super easy and it's super effective. And so for me personally, what I really enjoy about golf tournaments is that they can be a lot of work, but you can raise a lot of money for your event, for your trip, or just for your youth ministry. All right, the second way that I think that you can raise a lot of money relatively easily is by selling raffle tickets. Online, I'll actually put it in the link below on one that I have used before. Raffle tickets, you go online and you fill out a card, basically. You fill out a form and you create your own little ticket that has a booklet in it. And what I like to do is I like to have them in groups of 10. And each one of them sells for $1. So you give, let's say your trip's gonna cost $100 a student. You give those students 120 or 12 booklets of raffle tickets, and you have them go sell the tickets to the community, to their friends and their family, and to businesses or to just people they might know. And the best way to do it is they're $1 each, but the best way to do it is to sell them per booklet. You say, hey, it's $10 a booklet. They give you $10. Now you have a booklet with their name on it on 10 different raffle tickets, and it gets thrown into a raffle and into a pile. And so here's some things that you can raffle off. You need to be slightly careful. What I like to do is I like to raffle off cash. Because it's the easiest thing, right? You just put on the raffle ticket how much cash you can raffle off. First place gets $500, second 300, and third 100 or something like that. But what you need to make sure you do is you check with your local state laws and guidelines to confirm that the amount of money that you are selling or the amount of money that you are raffling is not considered a lottery. You can kind of get into some trouble if you do cash. So maybe you don't do cash, maybe you do like a PS5 as first place, second place as an iPhone or whatever. You can get creative with it. But it is relatively easy because it's the cost of the tickets are pretty low. Your overhead is low, but you can raise a lot of money on the other end of it for your event. So every year in my previous ministries, what we have done is we had a trip where we'd take our students out of state and we'd have them raise the money to go, because it's a lot. It's a lot of money to go on those trips. And so we'd have them raise the money, and that's what we would use. We'd use a raffle ticket. We'd say, okay, your trip's going to be $180. Here's 18 booklets or even 20 booklets. Just go slightly over the cost. Here's 20 booklets. So each student would be raising $200. Here's your raffles. Go out to the community and sell them for $10 a booklet. And you'll have some students who just don't want to do it, but then you'll have others that'll really get after it and sell it. And here's the thing: if they lose the raffle tickets that aren't filled out, it's not a big deal because it didn't really cost you that much money. Whereas if you're selling candy or you're selling cookies or things like that, if they lose the product, well, it costs you a lot of money to do that. Man, if you have found this video to be helpful at all in any way, why don't you hit that like button for me, man? Consider subscribing. We have a lot more videos coming out to help you in your ministry. All right, the third way that I think that you can raise money that is relatively easy and it doesn't cost you much is a car wash. Now, before you leave the video, before you quit, before you hit that dislike, before you get mad at me, listen, I understand. I hate car washes. I think that they're a lot of work. I don't feel like they raise very much money. For the amount of work that you're putting into it and how you're having to wrangle up kids and all that stuff, I get it. But they're easy. They're relatively easy, and you can raise money doing that. The problem is that when you're standing on the side of the street holding a sign that says car wash, man, nobody's coming to that. Nobody's coming to that car wash. I'm guilty of it. I drive by those car washes all the time on the street, and I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not gonna stop and spend my day doing that. So what you should do, and the best way to raise the money with a car wash, is to actually sell tickets to the car wash. You set it up a month in advance. You say, hey, on this date in July, we're gonna do a car wash. Here's some tickets for the students to go sell them, and you sell them for $5 each. And here's the thing that's cool about it: people will give you $5 for the car wash. You give them a ticket, and then they come the day of and turn in that ticket, and they get their car washed. But if they don't come and they don't show up for that car wash that day, you already have their cash. You already have their money. You've already raised the money for it, and they just didn't come. So it's a win-win in that way. I know in the past, one of the things that I've done with those kinds of car washes is with the ticket, I've partnered with a local restaurant in town, and with that ticket, with the purchase of a ticket, you turn it in, you get the car wash, but then while we're washing your car, while you're waiting, whatever it might be, you can go into the restaurant that was next door, and you can get yourself, in our case, it was a stack of pancakes for free. And so we just partnered with that local restaurant, and so with the sale of the ticket, not only did you get a car wash, but while you're waiting, you can go get some pancakes for free. And the reason it works for the restaurant is because most of the time you'll go in for the pancakes, but then they'll order a cup of coffee or whatever, and they make some money off it as well. Okay, with these three fundraisers, with the golf tournament, you can raise anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. Again, it's going to take work to do that. With the raffle tickets, you can raise anywhere from $500 to $2,000 or more. And then with the car wash, I would say you're going to raise about $500 to $1,000, maybe $1,500. And so those are three kind of levels of fundraising that'll take, and it also is kind of three levels of effort when it comes to raising money for your youth ministry. ministry. So when it comes to fundraising, it doesn't have to be these 3 that you do, but the ones that you do choose or the ones that you do look up, what I want you to do is make sure that you're finding one that is minimal effort on your end. The last thing that you're needing to do is spend all your time and effort and energy on a fundraiser. What you should try to do is try to get the students to raise the money for you in an easy way, and that's low overhead. Hey, I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has, if you'll do me a favor and hit that like button, man, consider subscribing and sharing it with a friend. It really does get the word out to other youth pastors in the area. Look, I don't feel like I have all the answers when it comes to youth ministry. I just want to be a resource to you and to other youth pastors around so that we can be the best that God has called us to be. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We'll catch you in the next one.